Welcome to the first official episode to LOC Podcast. I am Nathan, and we're going to be covering a very intriguing topic today. And we're actually going to start out with a poem. The name of the poem is If. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor walk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can forgive the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Be a man. Unfortunately, that term has been hijacked. But those of us that understand the true meaning have been gifted with individuals in our lives that have provided us with the synonymous morals, the ethics, the chivalry that purely defines be a man. You have heard the phrase, what is a woman? But today I would like to discuss, what is a man? So when I ask you the question, what is a man, what goes through your mind? For me, the first thoughts that start going through my mind are, what are the responsibilities? What is the, almost kind of like, what is the purpose of a man? What are we supposed to do? So in essence, responsibilities. So, what are our responsibilities? Are they specifically family? Are they specifically academic? Are they specifically um, work related? What are our responsibilities? I think that a lot of us can get caught up into what seems to be the greatest focal point of what a man does, which is a man works. A man has been very a man has been divinely appointed to work. Whenever Adam was dropped off in it, well, not dropped off in the garden, but whenever Adam was created and he was placed in the garden, he was immediately given the responsibilities of naming the animals. So immediately from the very beginning, we have been workers. Personally, I can look for a lot of identity in what I do, in the vocation that I have been called to. So what I currently do, how I do my job, I can get caught up into the identity that what I do for a living is what defines me, because knowing that I am called to work, I am called to provide for my family, and I'm called to take care of my wife. Um, the financial responsibility of what I am required to do for my family it can be a very heavy burden. And because that is such an integral part to a man's life, we can very quickly find ourselves attaching our identity to our work, to what we do. The biggest issues that we face hand in hand with that is, what is our purpose and what is our identity? Well, if we take the biblical aspect of that, which is, our purpose is to fulfill the will of Christ, and we find our identity in Christ. That can, for a Christian, that sums up the idea of responsibility, because when we find our identity with Christ, the identity of who we are procures evidence that we do find Christ as our identity. And also, that helps provide us with purpose and provides us with direction. So, work has always been something that man does, and as I had said earlier, it is something that I believe has been divinely appointed for man, because you cannot find your, we'll say, our purpose in life. You cannot necessarily find your purpose in life by running around and just having fun. It is specifically through what we do and how we do it is where we start to fully figure out. I hate to say the word purpose, because whenever I start to mention the word purpose, purpose can kind of get confused. For instance, so ultimately, our purpose, we have been called to have dominion and subdue the earth. We have also been called to go into all the world, preaching the gospel, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So we have received a calling. We know what our purpose is, but then we have our vocational. We have like the ultimate goal, which is the will of God, and then we have this sub level of what we have to do vocationally to provide for our family. That secondary or tertiary responsibility that we have runs parallel to our ultimate responsibility. When we work vocationally, yes, we do provide the financial aspect for our families. But then there also is going to take a physical level of provision as well. So we cannot just work at work. We also have to work at home. When we go home to our wife, or wives since we're talking plurally. But when we go home to our wife and we speak with them, it is going to take a certain amount of actual physical work for us to physically show our wives that we truly care for them. It will take physical work, which physical, mental, it will take all of those aspects of who we are to be able to show our wife, show our family that we truly care for them. Because, yes, in our minds, we can be thinking, oh, I love my family. Oh, we need to do this. Oh, I care for them. And I know, especially with me, that's as far as it can get sometimes. I had my wife. A day doesn't go by where I tell my wife that she's beautiful. But there are times whenever she wears a particular dress or she has her hair in a particular way, and I think, oh, wow, that looks very pretty. Or, oh, wow, that dress looks really nice. And I don't say anything because it stops right here. And that is the difficulty that I believe that it's not just me. I believe that there are far more of us out there, but we have to physically take that time to mention, hey, your hair looks nice, without being prodded, without being told, hey, you haven't told me I look beautiful today. Without that, we need to be able to physically go out of our way and say something. And whenever we say it or whenever we do it without having been asked, it means a whole lot more to individuals. Being a worker, whether it's with our hands, whether it's with our minds, we have been, it is a God given responsibility. I do not believe that you can find fulfillment in media. I do not believe that you can find fulfillment in playing video games. I do not believe that you can find fulfillment in watching movies, watching TV, I do not believe that you can find fulfillment in those. I don't believe that you can find fulfillment in reading books either. So for those of you out there like, he talked about video games, also books. I do not believe that you can find fulfillment in just reading books either. I don't believe that you can find fulfillment in just academia. But, however, there are caveats to that. But I'm speaking in generalities, okay? I do not believe that you can find fulfillment in media and just like a book, a drama, book on drama. Okay, in order for you to find fulfillment in something, it's going to come from the application of your mind and the application of your hands, with a purpose behind it. Because just because you do something, it doesn't mean that you're going to find purpose in what you do. Okay, well, let's take two different aspects. Okay, you can make a lot of money and you can show up to a law firm. You can make a little bit of money and show up to McDonald's and flip burgers. Okay, no matter which side of that spectrum you're on, just because you show up to a job does not mean that you're going to find fulfillment in what you do. And when I say fulfillment, I'm referring to like a sense of accomplishment. Because if you are simply showing up to a job just to exist at that job, it is not enough. You're going to then go, oh man, when does this shift over? I want to get home so I can find fulfillment in something else. Where you're going to find fulfillment as far as vocationally, you're going to find that fulfillment in showing up, not just simply in the term showing up, where I arrive and I exist and someone says, do this, and I do it. That is not simply enough. If an individual, your boss, if your boss shows up and he says, hey, I want you to perform X task. So you go, let's say you work at Home Depot and your manager says, hey, I need you to grab the forklift, grab this lumber, and load it up with the customer. Well, as most people will do, they will run over, they will grab the forklift, they will grab the lumber, and they will drive it over to load it up. And then all they will simply do is load, load, load. I'm a robot. When what is necessary and an absolute must is you go and you do it as quickly as you can, with as much quality as you can muster, with the best kind of service you can provide. Do you enjoy everything you're asked to do? Do you enjoy talking with everyone that you need to talk to? No, you do not. But where you will find personal growth is by doing those things anyway. Whenever you show up and you have a client who does not like XYZ, and you're able to take care of that client in a quality manner, and they leave, whether or not they leave happy or whether or not they leave completely frustrated, but you know that you have handled the situation in the best possible way, that is where you're going to find growth, and that is whenever you're going to find fulfillment in what you do. Believe it or not, doing the absolute best you can do is where you will find a great amount of fulfillment. Are we always doing the best we can do at every moment? No. Do we have moments where we're just, oh my goodness, I'm dog tired right now. I don't think I could, I want to go home and I want to go to bed. Yes. A lot of us have those moments. A lot of us reply sometimes in the way we shouldn't. A lot of us say things that we shouldn't, think things that we shouldn't, do things that we shouldn't. But the striving to be the best that you can be, that is where you'll find a lot more fulfillment. That takes work. A man is a worker, but I believe also that a man should be a warrior. Now, whenever I say a warrior, I'm not necessarily saying that men should be in the military, like every man should be in the military. I'm not saying that every man should fight somebody. Not every man should. I'm not saying every man should go be a boxer. I'm not saying that in that particular sense. A man should be dangerous, yet disciplined. So, whenever I say that, the reason why I say that, if you are someone that always goes with the flow, you're someone that never likes, never wants adversity. You always take the easiest path. You just don't like to deal with hard moments. You're going to be a pushover. If you are someone that just wants the easy road out of everything, you don't like difficulty. Nobody likes difficulty, but you're not willing to put up with difficulty. You quickly exit just the whatever the easiest exit is. If as soon as you see difficulty, I'm gone. I'm just not going to be around anymore. Those are going to be the individuals that are just pushovers. However, on the other hand, you may not want something, particularly a job. You may not want a particular job, but you don't have a choice. So you show up, you tell them, this is the best, I can be the best person you will put in this job. Maybe not right away, but I will be the best person you'll have in this job in X amount of time. And at least for me, if I am hiring you and you tell me that I will be the best individual, like take Tom Brady, for instance. Tom Brady and Robert Kraft, he reiterates the story as well. Tom Brady says, I'm the best decision you've ever made or you'll ever make, something like that. And Tom Brady went ahead and he proved it. And personally, I don't care what you think. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't care what you say. He phenomenal player. But do you think Tom Brady, whenever he was drafted to be a backup quarterback, he knew he wasn't going to be the starter. He knew that life was going to be difficult to get where he wanted to be. Do you think that Tom Brady would have gotten there if he had just simply taken the easy road out and just go, you know what, I'm content with sitting as a backup for the next 3-4 years anywhere I want to go, just for I mean, technically, even backups make more money than I make. But even sit around for a backup quarterback, and I don't know. We'll throw a number out there. I'll make $1 million a year, even 500,000. $500,000 a year over the next 4 years. That's a pretty good life, making $500,000 a year. I realize that you may only see like 300,000 of that or 250,000 of it, depending on taxes. But could he have taken that easy road and just this I'm content with this? He could have, but Tom Brady wouldn't have been known as the greatest quarterback of all time, and that's the difference. I don't want to equate everything to Tom Brady, but Tom Brady, in a sense, he was a warrior. He was dangerous. And if you listen to some of the individuals talk about Tom Brady, they would say he is dangerous on the field. He was dangerous with his mind. He was dangerous with his ability to read the defense and make plays, and that was the reason why he won seven Super Bowls. I believe it was seven Super Bowls. I would go and say, "Hey, look that up," but I don't have anybody supporting me, so me by myself. So I'll look it up later. Um, but you are not going to It is going to be very difficult for you to excel in life if you always want to take the easy road out. A warrior is going to fight. A warrior is going to be dangerous. Don't be a pushover. If I come up to you and you're slouching, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. My boss, he's just, I can't stand him, dude. He's just, I don't get paid enough. I know that if I showed up and I worked beside you, I'm taking your job. Not in the sense of I'm getting you out of a job. I'm just saying that I'm coming to be better than you. If you even wanted that manager position, there's no way you're going to be able to get it because I'm going to so far outwork you. So, that is what I mean by dangerous. I want you to know that a dangerous man is going to be a respected man. And the reason why I say that is if you are ever around somebody, take a police officer. A police officer is dangerous. And when I say that, why is a police officer dangerous? Why is a military, an MP, why is an MP dangerous? Why is a Marine dangerous? Why is someone that came out of the Army, why are they dangerous? It is because they have been taught how to fight. They have been taught a particular set of skills, and they have disciplined themselves in those skills. So if you're ever around somebody, if you know somebody, so like I walk up to you, you're in the Army. Now I realize that there are caveats to this. I realize that some people might have been, a chef, and they could be skin and bones. Okay, there's caveats to just about everything. But if I walk up to you and I know that you were in the Army, am I going to try to pick a fight with you? No, I'm not going to try to pick a fight with you because I understand that there's a potentiality of there being some physical consequences of picking a fight with somebody in the military, or at least were in the military, because they probably know some things that I don't know. And that goes to the same thing with if I walk up to you and you look like a pushover at work, you look like a pushover, as a friend. First off, I don't like being friends with just pushovers. It may sound mean, but it's very difficult to be a best friend with somebody that doesn't know what they want to do in life, that doesn't care, that always wants the easy road, always complains. Who wants a friend like that? But if I see you're a pushover, I'm going to avoid you because you're going to be so easily swayed. If you were ever in a difficult situation, you wouldn't have my back. And if I put you in a difficult situation, I know you just run. So understand that whenever I say dangerous, I'm not necessarily talking about somebody who's always ready to fight. Someone that, I'll pull out a gun at a moment's notice. That's not the kind of person. I'm talking about a meek person. Someone who has strength under control. That's what I'm talking about. A man is a worker. A man is a warrior. A man is a woman's strength. Wives are going to find their strength in you. And it is your responsibility to take care of them. It makes my heart glad whenever I hear my wife, even in fun conversations, make a passing not remark about our house being taken care of or our house being safe. Or whenever we go out in public, I know I don't have to worry about anything because, Nathan's all over. Whenever I hear those remarks, it makes my heart happy. I understand that I have a responsibility to protect my wife, my family, and so do you. That is your responsibility as a man. I believe that women don't want a weak husband. I believe that's your responsibility as a man. Whenever I'm talking about weak, I'm not necessarily referring to strength, and I'm not necessarily referring to passion, like crying. What I'm referring to is that a wife needs to be able to feel secure that if something went down, or if someone was mean to her or assaulted her or something and you were there, that she knows that you will have her back and you will protect her. That is your responsibility. I don't like seeing weak men. I have a very difficult time with men who make their wives work to support the family. Now, if your wife, let me phrase this, all right? Because there are certain things in certain situations. If your wife is making a ton of money and y'all have mutually agreed that she'll make the money, you'll stay home and you'll take care of everything. That's one thing. But, make sure that when you're home you're working. Because your wife doesn't need to feel like she's the only one doing something around the house. She's taking care of everything. If you've ever heard a woman say that whenever I go to marry a man, I want him to make X amount more than I do. I think that he should make this much more than me. I want this in a man. I want this in a man. You tell me if I'm wrong. You tell me, do women want a soft man that they can feel no security in? Now, do they want a passionate man that whenever they have problems, the wife is crying because she's facing some difficulty in her life, whether she's getting old and it's a struggle for her that her beauty may be leaving, and it's all of that starting to kick in on her and she starts getting sad. And does a wife want someone that is passionate, that can take care of somebody? Yes. But a wife needs to know that she has somebody strong that can take care of her physically, that can take care of her emotionally. Not everybody out there is built to be this alpha male, this person that is, I'm coming for everything. I'm going to take it all. I'm dissatisfied with being second place. You're not going to find that in every single man because different men have different priorities. But what I'm saying is I don't want to come home. I don't want to come to your home. Let me rephrase this. I don't want to come to your home, walk in the door, and you're sitting around playing video games, not providing for your family. I have no respect for that. If you're sitting at home just because you don't feel like going to work, just because it's just not on your docket for the day, just because, I don't like my job, so I'm going to sit home. I can't stand that. That's a waste of time. You have a responsibility. Wake up. Provide for your family. You need to be a worker. You need to be a warrior. And you need to be your wife's strength. You have responsibilities because you're a man. And when I say you're a man, or act like a man, be a man, what I'm saying is you have the responsibilities of being strong for your wife. You have the responsibility of being a warrior, not being a pushover. You have the responsibility of being a worker. In that poem that we read, well, that I read, she listened to, I kind of wrote down some of the ideas that he was covering. What is a man? He kind of answers that in his poem. Do we go to poems? Do we go to poems to find answers for everything? Do we go to just any book on the shelf to find answers for everything? No. But I think there are a lot of good ideas in here. So, what is a man? A man stays in control in adversity. He has confidence, but yet teachability. He's patient, not deceitful. You can manage your thoughts and your dreams to where don't spend all of your time dreaming and all of your time thinking about how things could be, but you manage your thoughts and dreams. You understand that triumph and disaster aren't what define you. You have strength, which is, I think, what he refers to as more of like that emotional strength. Determination. A lot of times when we don't identify with anything and we feel like we don't have an identity, we try to find something that we can prescribe an identity to. Our fruits, or the things that we say, the things that we do, are going to define what we find our identity in. Be careful about what you find your identity in. If you've enjoyed the podcast, if you've enjoyed the topics that we've covered, if you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe. But more than anything, I want your comments because I want to hear what you're thinking. I want to know, what do you think a man is? So when someone says to you, be a man, what does that mean to you? And what do you think the responsibilities of a man are? Thanks for joining us today. Again, my name's Nathan. This is the LOC podcast. Y'all have a great day.